Hello, guys. Thank you for joining once again. Few technical issues again. Still getting used to this this StreamYard that we use over here at the West Ham Network. But welcome back to the wrap up with myself, Jamie Talks on the West Ham Network. Wow, what a result on Monday. I wanted to start off with everyone in the chat. Thanks to everyone joining. Let's get a question up straight away. I want to know, who's your hammer of the year so far? Because I think there's a lot of contenders, and I think obviously the main contenders all played a key part on Monday. Just on the face of it, I was at the game. It was probably one of the best performances I've seen all season, for sure. I think from the moment I got there, within 5 minutes we're 2-0 up, and then it was kind of cruising for a very, very long time. There were shaky points, don't get me wrong. I think, in the ways where we've been kind of a bit defensively shaky at times throughout this season. I think we saw that for moments in Monday, but the difference was on Monday, our best players were clinical and we created some real good quality chances. And it felt good to leave the London Stadium for the first time this year with a win under our belts. Just to look at a few of you guys in the chat, of course, we've got a lot of similar names. Evening to everyone that's joined. We've got Steve coming in with Areola. Seeger, is that Seeger? Coming in with Emerson or Areola. Together, Brendan, Areola. Alan Dunn says Emerson or Areola. Freddie Hill's gone with Jared Bowen. Hammers Mikey is Emerson for me. Areola, very close second. Mark Pendleton, Emerson. Hammer of the year, Emerson or Areola, but it will go to a forward. I think you're probably right there, mate. Mark Watson, Areola. Stephen says Bowen, West Ham faithful, Emerson. Bill Clark, Alvarez. I'm not against it. I think it's probably been our best signing. I'll give you that 100%. Moyes can still go. You're getting in there early, Mikey. Okay. Stephen Langham, Emerson, Aaron Meadow. Okay, pal. Okay. Left the club a very long time ago. Tottenham legend. Right. Bowen, Areola or Emerson, Stuart Burt, Paquetá. For me, guys, I echo a lot of you. I think Emerson has been probably our hammer of the year. If I had to pick one player, that is, I think he's been more often than not, a steadfast player for us, putting a lot of top quality performances for us. Probably seen the best of him in a West Ham shirt, and I think he's kind of kicked on from the form that he showed at the end of last season and brought it into this season. And we've seen it over multiple times this year where, he's really shone and gone under the radar, but obviously scores a banger of a goal on Monday, and I think the eyes of the footballing world were on them then. But yeah, absolute class from Emerson. I thought he was a shining light for us the other day, and it was so good, obviously, to see Paquetá. It's the low-hanging fruit. It's what we're all thinking, of course, but seeing Paquetá back in our side, bringing some real creativity to the team, I think, which had been kind of missing for a long time, brings a lot of invention, a lot of kind of magic to a football pitch that is very much lost when he's not on there. And he brings Emerson to life in terms of, the link-up play that we have down the left-hand side, and just becomes more dangerous as a result. Were any of you guys at the game? What were your thoughts on the game? I'm interested to know, not to make this a Moyes in or Moyes out discussion, but who's Moyes in, who's Moyes out? What are you thinking? I think, we're only it was a top quality performance. If we put in performances like that for the rest of the season, would people still be that unhappy? For me, I think, not to stay on the fence and be Moyes in or Moyes out. I think a lot of people this year of kind of moaning about the style of football and the quality of football and whatnot, and that being kind of the sole proponent of getting David Moyes out the football club. What are you guys thinking now? Was that a bad game for you? I mean, because personally, I loved the game on Monday. I found it thoroughly entertaining. It was very good. It was a lot different to what we've been experiencing all year. But it was very much like attacking football that I think everyone had been asking for. So what are we thinking? Stuart comes in. I'm 50-50 for David Moyes, in and out. Moyes out, realists. Moyes in. Okay. Let's see what else we got going in here. What was the reason Moyes disappeared down the tunnel so early? I was 10 minutes late, so thought I finished my beer. We never start fast. Aaron, I feel for you, mate. Love the way we passed the ball and moved much faster and an attacking intent from the off. Yeah, Mark, I agree with you, mate. Don't think Moyes will play in an attacking way for the rest of the season. Out. Richo65 is tired. He's either tired of West Ham. He's tired of this chat. He's tired of something. He's tired of life. He's got an Everton shirt on as well, so he's in here. We're coming for you this weekend, mate. Don't worry. Just because the Premier League want to look after you, giving you some points back. We'll see you. We'll see you Saturday, mate. Don't worry about that, son. We've got Everton fans in here. Come on, get at them in the comments, guys. Come on. It's a big game this weekend. Big game this weekend. Hi Barry. Thanks for watching, mate. I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you? We looked so energetic and started off with pace and intention. I really enjoyed Monday evening. Still want Moyes to hang up his slippers though in the summer. Time for change. Moyes out, realist. Moyes in, brainwashed. But there's still hope for them. You can't pick your hammers, family, as they say. The first manager in 40 years to win a cup for us. So let's see what happens at the end of the season. Everton will be normal service resumed. Sadly, Mark, have some belief, mate. Come on, Mark. Frustrating because we knew the side can do this, but David Moyes sets up defensively. This was like 2-3 years ago. We'd done this first Arsenal in the Cup too. If the rumours of a coach instead of a manager are true, there is no way Moyes' ego allows him to sign. He needs to be in full control and will not stand for change. Story goes, Bowen kicked everyone up the arse. All good, thanks, mate. After that decent win. Very true, Barry. Let's have some positivity in here tonight, guys. There's a lot of Moyes out, Moyes in. I know I started the conversation. Joe Bowen got a hat-trick 2 days ago. You know, literally 2 days ago. At this point, I was watching Jarrod Bowen score his second goal, you know. So come on, let's have some positivity. Just Jarrod Bowen. Here's a question for you guys. I know we're all quite biased. Does Jarrod Bowen go to the Euros now? He's surely a shoo-in, no? Bowen needs to give the team talks from now on. Danny, of course. Second best defence after VVD, Gomez. Joe Gomez. Are you having a laugh, mate? Michael, whilst Moyes was getting it up, here's from Suchek. Right. What do you make of these ridiculous Kevin Dunn deciding team tactics nonsense? It's not true, Mark. It's not true. People say stuff on Twitter and people believe it, but it's actually not true. Right, let's highlight Richo in the chat, guys. We've got a fraud. We've got an imposter in here. We've got a fraud. We've got a rival fan. We've got a big game against Everton this weekend. And can we build on the momentum that we've obviously built on that Brentford game and go to Everton and get a big win? I want to get some score predictions in the chat. Here we go. And I want your score prediction as well, Rich. Don't worry, I'm here as well, mate. Predictions for Everton this weekend. Right, let's get that on there. There we go. It's the Brazilian wonder that gives us hope. The team played better with Paquetá. Absolutely, Barry. I couldn't agree more, mate. I think for weeks and weeks and weeks, West Ham fans have obviously been asking for creativity in this side and invention and magic, and Lucas Paquetá is everything in and some, you know. He's one. He really reminds me. Some of you are going to crucify me for this, of course, but he is the kind of status of player that like a Di Canio or a Payet, you know, these kind of mercurial, talented players that are clearly the best player in the team. Bit of a troubled individual. They've all got their own stuff going on. He's got his betting scandal. It's the only reason he's probably still here, let's be honest. But he's one of those kind of like iconic figures that will go down and West Ham fans really get their teeth into, you know, that we love a maverick. We love a guy that can do things with a football that you just don't see too often. And he really just like, he comes across to me like a Di Canio type figure, like a Payet type figure. Like we're going to talk about Lucas Paquetá at this football club for a very, very long time. You know, Monday, the game just gone was another example of a top performance from Lucas Paquetá, and we've seen it for multiple times this season. And you know, the stats don't lie. Our stats with him in the team are so much better than without him, and we're rapidly becoming a one-team man, which is quite worrying. But yeah, while he's here, definitely got to keep him in the side and keep him fit as much as we can. Right. Let's get into some score predictions. Barry comes in first of all. Nice bit of positivity. 3-1 to West Ham all day long. 2-2 draw. Bill Clark 1-0. Bowen and Kudus to score from Freddie. Mark Watson coming in with 2-0. West Ham if we go for it. Richo's coming in with best 2 central defenders, Tarkowski and Branthwaite. You're not calling James Tarkowski one of the best in the league. That's not what you're doing, is it, mate? And Branthwaite's a kid. I know he's doing very well. He's looking like a very bright talent. But are we calling him the 2 best in the league? Is that where you're at with that? I don't know, mate. Mark Pendleton, Everton 1, West Ham 1. Michael Blees coming in with Everton 1, West Ham 3, long as we deal with their hoofball. 3-1 at the Toffees. Now done. Bit of negativity from him, Mikey, mate. What's it going to take to make you happy? Come on, mate. I can see in the chat. You're saying we're going to lose. You want Moyes out still. Did you celebrate when we won on Monday, or are you a little bit angry because it gave Moyes a little bit of kind of leeway? Let me know in the chat. Come on. Alan Dunn, 3-1 to West Ham. Attacking Desmond with no low block, please. 3-1 to the Hammers. From 2 up, 2 down. Barry coming in with an interesting question. Oh, hang on. This will be the game DCL breaks his goalless run, mate. He's too busy on fashion runways to be scoring goals in the Premier League, my friend. Barry Clark, do you think Bowen should be given the armband or let JWP have it as Zuma is broken and not a good captain? I wouldn't take the captaincy off Kurt Zuma just yet. I think it's a conversation maybe to be had at the end of the season, but I definitely wouldn't have him take it off him yet. If he's not playing, obviously, which is obviously a chance. Sometimes he can't manage 2 games in a week, of course, with his fitness record and whatnot. I do think he can come good. Just to be clear, I would give it to James Ward-Prowse more than anyone. I think James Ward-Prowse is one of the clear options. People will say he's new to the club and everything, but he's very much bought into the West Ham culture. You see it in his passion and his celebrations and the way he plays football and whatnot. And he's really a team player. Clearly, he's got years of being a captain and years worth of experience at Southampton, I should say. So I think he could very much kind of bring that over to a West Ham side that will definitely need some leadership over the next few years. 3-1 to the Hammers from Stuart Burt. Paquetá, Kudus, Bowen to score. Nice. Aaron 2-0. Richo's still in here, guys. He's still in here. 2-0 to Everton. Everton don't score enough. Come on, mate. I did see an interesting stat, though. I think Everton are the only side in the Premier League that haven't conceded a goal from a header. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I think if West Ham come up against it, it'll be like an immovable object versus an unstoppable force. Right. Maybe the day right here. James coming in with 3-1 to West Ham. As long as we set up like we did against Brentford, I think everyone's fit, mate. Interesting one from Michael. Alvarez should be captain on pitch. Let Zuma be club captain. DCL should stop wearing high heels. Heard a stat today. We've never lost when Paquetá, Kudus and Emerson start. James Ward-Prowse for El Capitan and Alvarez as vice captain. Yeah, James Ward-Prowse for me. I think he's the guy. I love Alvarez. He's rapidly becoming my favourite West Ham player. I was gutted when Fornals left because Fornals has always been the guy that I just loved more than any player. Not necessarily for all the stuff that he did on the pitch, but just for buying into the culture. Seeing West Ham are massive. He was just your favourite player's favourite player at West Ham, and I just loved him for that. And Alvarez is very much becoming that player for me, where he's kind of he's got that South American spirit, that typical passion that you see in players from that kind of part of the world, and he's up there. His injury, not his injury record, sorry, his discipline record could come into question a little bit, because he is a bit fiery at times. He can pick up a few too many yellow cards here and there. So I don't know if I'd want him as captain, but he's definitely there as vice captain. So I would agree with you there, mate. Do you think Phillips will be reinstated? Is he not still on a ban, mate? Obviously, he got sent off. Is it not a 2? I thought it was. Is it just 1 match ban? I'm not 100%. Or is it just 1 match? I didn't realize he was back in contention for this game. Interesting one. Toby said it best, mate. I said that a few times on Monday night. Irons, can't say it better myself. Ammers, Mikey. Consistent front foot football I want to see, mate, that we pay to watch. Better use of subs and youth and proper in-game management and not an arrogant, narcissistic, outdated old manager. If West Ham get past Tarky and Brainy, England #1, leading with 8 clean sheets. Oh, Jordan Pickford, mate. Jordan Pickford. If Jordan Pickford could keep his head, yeah, I mean, it's all right, mate. It's all right. It's like going to Nando's and getting a plane. It's very plain. I'm not scared by James Tarkowski, Jared Branthwaite, and Jordan Pickford. I'm not worried about that, mate. It's like taking all the spice out of a curry or going to Nando's, getting a plane. It's like, yeah, it's doing the job, but it don't excite me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not worried by that defense. This might come back to bite my ass, or bite me in the ass. And I know you have defensively been quite well, but I'm not worried about that defense, mate. Come on, Richo. Bit of West Ham chat here. I had £1 on West Ham to win both halves and Bowen to get hat-trick. 175 to 1. 176 quid. Lovely. Toby, beers on you, mate. That is a class bet. Fair play. If Everton are that good, they wouldn't be getting relegated. Nice, Toby. Richo, how can you even pay for Ali after 7 matches with FFP hounding news? Should he get fit enough? Oops. The way we played last time suits Dinos and Aguerd. They are front foot players. Absolutely, mate. And I think Dinos really states his claim for a real kind of chance at starting in this team. 1 match ban for Phillips. That's an interesting one. Would I start him? No, I wouldn't actually. I think I would go, if providing everyone's fit, I would actually start with a team that went against with Brentford. Don't fix what's not broken. And obviously we can't forget that next week we got the European game, big game in Freiburg. So I would very much be utilising some squad players here and there, and I would maybe start Phillips in the Europa League next week. If what you say about Everton not conceding from a header, then we don't need to start checking this game because that's the main reason he plays. 1 game ban. Remember, Alvarez was only out for 1 game. That's a good point, mate. Yeah, my bad. Richo, what do you think of David Moyes? That's an interesting question, actually, because that's one thing the two clubs have in common. Obviously, David Moyes, opinions aside, I know everyone's got all their opinions in this chat. He has now got 2 real case studies for Premier League clubs, taking them from relegation points to really leaving them in much better positions. And either way, if David Moyes, and a lot of people are unhappy about the style of football at the football club right now, but there's no denying that obviously David Moyes will be leaving this football club in a much better position than when he got it. And it was a very much similar story for when he was at Everton, famously getting them Champions League football in his time there. As a Everton fan that's been through the ringer over the last few years, you've had some really dark moments, ownership and all sorts of things. The club's been led very much astray by a lot of, shady people. What are your thoughts on David Moyes? Do you see that, a West Ham and feel envious of kind of the progression we've made in that time? It's an interesting one for sure. Paquetá would love to score against Pickford. I bet he would, mate. More worried about Scousers nicking my motor. Take your tyres with you, mate. Completely forgot about Phillips when it's back to 3 holding midfielders again shortly then. Everton will be relegated when they get another 6 points relegated. Zuma is broken. If Everton get relegated, they won't be able to afford their new stadium. Alvarez will probably miss Burnley and Villa because he's getting booked on Saturday. The Czech boys were blinding versus Brentford. You can't drop either. Yeah, exactly. Thomas Soucek's performance really went under the radar in that game. I watched the game live, obviously, in the stadium, and I rewatched it the next day because I'm a loser like that. And Thomas Soucek's performance was understated. It was one of his better performances for us all season. And yeah, it was we bossed the midfield, and obviously that's a huge reason why we won the game eventually. Right, Chelsea just scored 3-2, 92nd minute. Outrageous. That's the last thing we want to be seeing. How shit was Antonio during his cameo? Nearly cost me my bet. stopping that he was on the wing, walking around the edge of the box while players that have run for 80 minutes are closing down. It's an interesting one. I think for a bench player, it's always hard coming into the game late in the game, especially when they're kind of chasing the game, and we didn't have much of the ball at that point, so it was hard for him to make an impact. Everton will have to sell Pickford as he's our only good player who could come to us instead. You want Jordan Pickford? I tell you what, I wouldn't take Jordan Pickford over Alphonse Areola. People in this chat have been saying all for the last 20 minutes or so, he's up there with Hammer of the Year. I don't know if I'd swap Pickford for Areola. No way. I think Pickford's a good tournament keeper. I think he's very good for England. Never put a foot wrong. But I think in an Everton shirt, I'm not sure. Mate. Souček was third. There we go. Exactly. Souček was third for successful passes on Monday. He had a top quality performance. He really, really did. Right. Mikey's in here with another comment. Zuma looks like he's carrying a free-wheeled Reliant Robin on his back and wearing concrete boots. He is finished at this club. Moyes, however, will run him even further into the ground, though. Do you know what, mate? I don't know if I agree with you there. I really don't. I don't necessarily think he's finished at the club, but I think, he might not be able to manage more than one game a week. And I think that's just where he's at in his career. And the injuries that he's accrued over the years have kind of put him into a point that he's in now. But I think a lot of top centre-backs would get found out in this West Ham side for sometimes how high our line is. And if you haven't got pace to burn, sometimes you can get found out. I think it's just a symptom of how we play. But yeah, again, what I will say is some of his performances haven't been good enough. Absolutely. I liked Souček's reaction to Emerson's goal. Hands-on hex shock. Absolutely, mate. And what a goal that was, by the way. A massive roar in the stadium. It was almost like absolute disbelief. It's what we've all wanted from Emerson this year because, as I said, he's really gone under the radar. I think he's up there with the best left backs in the league this year. I really do. And I think a lot of his performances have been understated. And that was, the first time he's produced a Hollywood moment, and rightfully so. A lot of people were giving him his flowers. Well, I do not like Pickford at all, mate. Agreed. I don't dislike him. I actually quite like him in an England shirt. I'm quite confident when he's starting for England, but I don't know if I'd want him starting for West Ham over Areola. Areola over Pickford. Bill in the chat agreeing, of course. Johnson came on and ran around like a lunatic. Antonio was literally walking while they jogged the ball past him when Antonio was on the left. There we go. No way, T-Rex arms. I would have Pickford as a keeper. Have him and Areola would be class. I mean, yeah, if there's a rotation system and he's available, sure. But I don't know if I'd want him to start. We don't know what's going to happen with Fabianski either, I suppose. Pickford could replace Fabianski as backup for Areola. I couldn't agree more. Yes, Moyes was good at Everton. Time to move on. Dyche doing a good job under pressure. You see the team togetherness on the pitch. Yeah, that's true, mate. I see it. You got a lot of young players as well that are obviously performing well, and rivalry is not a rivalry between us. Let's be honest, but banter aside between clubs, it's good to see Everton fans, getting something to cheer about because it's been a horrible few years for you lot, and Everton are a big club. It's been a shame how the club's been run, and you're finding yourself in these situations where you are getting point deductions and whatnot. So it's good to see you boys actually getting something to cheer about on the weekend for sure. There we go. Barry, you shouldn't be drinking on a school night. Areola over Pickford all night. There we go. I didn't say Pickford over Areola, just to clear that one up. Without the 10-point deduction, we would be level on points with Chelsea. Yeah, but Chelsea stink as well, mate, to be honest. I think, the first, anywhere from 6th down to 10th is completely open. And then there's a few teams in there that are obviously vying just below that for that point as well. So it's so open in that part of the table. Ari is my hammer of the year now. We've conceded a lot recently, but how many times has he kept us in games? Absolutely. Emerson goal was goal of the season. Oh, is it? It's definitely up there with the, I would put it alongside the Jarrod Bowen goal at Bournemouth, first goal of the season when we drew 1-1, opened the scoring, I believe, in the first half. But he culled that top corner. It was kind of the start of his season. He's obviously grown ever since. I would put it alongside that one, but the Emerson one, it's just a sweet strike. It's one of those like goals that make you go, ooh, lovely. Areola must have earned us at least 15 points this season on his own. Love the way Bowen Tolsky he's having Antonio's Premier League scoring record. That's what you love to see, 100%. And the way he's going this year, he's got 14 Premier League goals. You know, he could be the first Premier League striker in years, I should say. I think since Tony Hoty, he could be the first Premier League striker to hit 20 goals in a season. And not winning the Premier League, it would just be 20 goals for West Ham. Right, okay, let's get through this chat. Now we're into the final 16 in Europe. Do you think we'll ever see Cornet again in a West Ham shirt? Oh, I think he'll play cameo roles. Absolutely. I think it's really dependent on. I think it's really dependent on the fitness of many players. You know, I think all West Ham fans are vying for Cornet to come good because we've seen the player that he can be. You know, even in the Sheffield United game, we weren't very good that game, but he come on and scored an important goal for us. You know. So he does have a role to play, and we do hope that his performance levels can obviously grow and increase, and hopefully he can become the player that we thought that we were signing. But again, I think if we want to remain competitive in all the games we've got for the rest of the season in all competitions, really, we're going to need to utilise the players that we've got in our squad, and that's consistent with a Maxwell Cornet, but also other forgotten players like Danny Ings and some of the youth players we've got. I think we'll see him again, but I think that will be very much dependent on the players that are fit, obviously, because he doesn't get in our starting lineup. Kudus overkick kick. That is a good shout, Michael. Actually, that was a great goal. Great goal. Zuma reminds me of when the circus in town and the clowns are running around on stilts. Sorry, but he should retire because if he keeps going, he'll be crippled by the time he's 40. Kudus scissor kick was class. It was, mate. It was. It really was. Who from the loanees would you put in the squad next season? As in the people that we've got out on loan, or are you talking about people that we've got in on loan? Obviously, because we got Phillips in on loan, and I know there's a lot of obligations to buy with the players that we've let out. Obviously, like I can't see Tilo Kehrer ever playing for us again. Saeed Benrahma, I don't think he'll play. I think they're pretty much done and dusted. Yeah. What do you mean by that one? Sorry, Mark. Is that the draw? Is that the FA Cup draw? Mate, stick all the if you can, Mark, stick all the results in the chat. Let's see let's see what we got happening. Who have Newcastle got? I'd like to see Newcastle get a trophy this year. I actually feel for Zuma, to be honest. Doesn't pick himself up, but the bloke is close to being finished at this level. Got to give Marshall a go. Yes, yeah. And I think I think that sentiment is very much shared around the club. Actually, obviously he's just signed a new deal with the club and everything. I think Mark Noble obviously being important in that. But yeah, I want to see him given a go. I think West Ham want to see youth play at the club. We all love seeing that and when players come through. So let's hope someone gets a chance, of course. Potts, Kira, and Downs. Yeah, that's what I thought. So obviously, and they're the loans out, of course. But then obviously we've got Mark. Man City have got Newcastle. Outrageous. Would you bring Potts, Downs, and Marshall back in the squad? Honestly, mate, it's I think all players have got a route to, they've all got a part to play 100%. And I think West Ham are going to be in a position at the end of the season where we could potentially be losing a lot of players. We've got quite a few kind of stalwarts of the club that are nearing the end of their contracts. And I'm talking about players that have been around the team for a very, very long time. Your Aaron Criswells and your Rock Bonners. I know they're both out of contract at the end of the season off the top of my head. Forgive me, I can't remember everyone else right now. But we're going to lose a lot of players for that reason. So, without us going out there and replacing them with someone else, who knows? There's also, the elephant in the room, of course, is that Paquetá's release clause obviously activates this summer. So there could be a chance that Paquetá leaves. So it's one of those situations where we could find ourselves with let's hope with a little bit of a war chest. I don't want Paquetá to go, but if he does go, we're probably going to bring in around 85 million for him. So we'll definitely have to rely on some of the players that we've got out on loan, especially for the short term, if we can't bring in anyone else as a result. Martin coming in with a point about Cornet. I was so excited when we signed Cornet. I still think he's a really good player. I'd love to see him kick on and show us how good he is. Do you know what, Martin? I really agree with you, mate. And I think the disappointing thing is, you have to look at his first season as being super unfortunate. I know he's not the only West Ham player over the last couple of years to not really get a run in the side. And when things don't go well, they just really don't go well for you. But the first year, it was super unfortunate in terms of the injury he got. He obviously got that rare calf injury. When you go see a calf specialist, and the calf specialist has only seen the injury in 30 plus years of practice, you're dealing with a super unfortunate injury. And obviously he struggled to get back in the side and find form since then. But I agree with you, mate. I think there is a player in there. And I look at what we need on that left-hand side. It's clear that when Lucas Paquetá plays there, it very much results in West Ham ticking, and we play a much more expansive way. Because of his creativity and the things he can do on a football pitch. But if there's ever an opportunity to bring Lucas Paquetá central, Cornet can play that left-hand side role, and I think what we need at times is a role player on that left-hand side. And there were points, and the issue with Ben Rama is that he didn't do it enough. But you look at the key attributes to Maxwell Cornet's game, and it's to be lazy. I'm going to sound like a lazy journalist here. It's the PMP, it's the pace and power, it's the technical ability, it's like those kind of attributes that he kind of possesses in abundance. And there's nothing wrong with having a role player on the left-hand side. And I mean, I don't mean role player as in doesn't put his weight in the team, but I mean someone who does the basics very, very well. And I think Maxwell Cornet could be that guy on the left-hand side. Absolutely. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. Don't think Downs will return. Saints will buy him. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Last year, obviously, when you're a midfielder trying to compete for a place with Declan Rice, it's never going to happen. Thomas Soucek, as much as he had a poor season overall, I don't think Flynn Downs would have brought much more to that side, unfortunately. Obvious, but it's if, buts, and maybes, isn't it? I'd like to see Cornet stay and get a chance next season under a new manager. Reece Elliott, West Ham, James Ward-Prowse. I've seen him in here say this all night. So, yeah, James Ward-Prowse, JWP, absolute hero, mate. Next West Ham captain, I would assume. Let's get through these chats again. He's back again. West Ham, James Ward-Prowse. Right. No other team will entertain Cornet with his injury now. He needs game time. True. I feel the same about Ings. Given a chance, he could get a hat full of goals. Yeah, I want to agree with you, but I don't know. I think age comes into it. I think Danny Ings, his best days. I hate saying statements like this because it's so dismissive. And realistically, I'm not around the training pitch. So what right do I really have to kind of dismiss a player's career? But you do see Danny Ings, and you look at like kind of the things that made him so successful in his career. And got him the big move to Liverpool, and scored goals for Burnley, scored goals for Liverpool, did okay at Aston Villa. But then it got to a point where he wasn't playing for Aston Villa, and obviously West Ham found themselves in a situation where they needed someone to come score goals, and he's never been that guy. And I don't know, people will say he's never going to do well under a David Moyes kind of system. I just don't know. I don't know if he's got that. I think he, in an ideal world, he could very much be utilized as a squad player, and he can come on and cause some trouble and whatnot. But I just don't know. I do want to see it come good, because every time I go to a game, someone says to me, they say Danny Ings has, let himself go. So that's funny, at least. And I do hope he comes good, 100%. I do like Cornet. Just Moyes don't like him. If Moyes stay, then expect a big next season for Slabhead. I can't see Man United letting him go, mate. I really can't. I think he's been important from this year. Got Premier League Player of the Month a couple of months ago, didn't he? So, yeah. Martin, Ings can't buy a goal in the Prem for West Ham, although he scored in the under-21s last week. Says it all, in my opinion. Jamie, would you want to see Kero return if we move Aged Ogbonaron? It's a very difficult question to answer. It really is. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, we might find ourselves in a situation, Mark, where we let Aged go, we let Paquetá go. Two players that are very much like, should be in the starting lineup. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of money, hopefully, if that does happen. And I would like to see us kind of replace them with players that are at somewhat like for like, which is completely unrealistic, of course. But I don't know if Tilo Kehrer is going to be the answer to that 100%. Do I think he has a part to play in the squad? Yeah, I do think he does. I think in moments last year, he kind of came into the side and proved his worth, but they're all also like kind of question marks around his game. And I think that's why he ended up going out on loan. I can't see him coming back to the club, though. Moyes got into Danny Ings' head. Moyes ain't here next season. To be fair, Ings, no attacker, would do well in the defensive team. That's what I just said a minute ago. Yeah. Klopp has just brought a kid on who looks about 12. Moyes would be disgusted. Court, bin dippers, have a 16-year-old on. All right, guys, I am going to start wrapping things up. Okay. As I said, this will be, obviously I do this show every week at 9. It's the wrap up with Jamie Talks, of course. Thanks ever so much for watching. I won't be here next week because I've got some exciting news. I'm actually going to be traveling with the club next week. So I'm going to Freiburg next Wednesday with West Ham. And I will be doing some work with the club, doing some social presenting, interviewing fans, interviewing players. So if any of you are in Freiburg next week, drop me a message on my socials. I'll come and down and do some interviews with you and whatnot. But as I said, yeah, going to be out there with the club. So it's a dream come true for me. Who would have thought I'd be working with the club that I've supported for 30 odd years? It's bloody mental. So yeah, I'll be there next week. So there'll be no show next Wednesday, but I'll be back the week after. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Good day to everyone in the mate. Good day, Kieran. Good luck, Jamie. Well done. Cheers, mate. If anyone is going by, here you go. Usual subject. If anyone going by car to Everton, make sure you take your hubcaps off before traveling. Let's finish it, mate. See you all. I'll score later. And just one thing. Here we go. What's the latest on Tuchel? Personally, I'd love to have him back. Yeah, I don't think there's been any updates. I think things have gone quite quiet. Obviously, Bayern Munich picked up a win the other day, which is obviously super important for them because they'll be looking at rivaling for the title and whatnot. But yeah, I don't think there's been any updates on that. But as I said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been the wrap up with myself, Jamie Talks. You can find me on all socials if you are interested. And I will catch you guys in a couple of weeks now. Appreciate you all being active on the chat. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all the comments and whatnot on the West Ham Network channel. And I'll catch you next week. Cheers, guys.